Let me try to illustrate by telling you a story of two couples. Couple one, couple two. Couple one and couple two both paid $200,000 for their home. They both put down 20%, but couple number one got their mortgage at 4.22% interest, and couple number two got their mortgage at 2.36% interest. Now let's look at the short and the long-term expenses to those two couples. Couple one pays $1,499 per month for their mortgage. Couple two pays $1,396 per month for theirs. The difference is $145 per month. Now, let me just ask you, how many jars of peanut butter, cans of soup, bags of potatoes, fresh vegetables, tuna fish can you buy for $145 a month? How many movies can you see with your kids? How many times can you take your spouse or significant other out to dinner for $145 a month? Now that's only one time a year. It's going to be repeated 12 times a year, every 30 days. Now let's look at the longer term effects of 15 years. Couple one pays $56,218 for their mortgage. Couple two pays $30,143 for a difference of $26,075 over the course of a 15-year mortgage. If it's 30, you can double that. It's going to be about $52,000. Let me ask you, doesn't take much common sense, does it, to realize that any family in America would love to have $26,075 extra dollars at the end of 15 years. Who could not think of something very significant, fun, and helpful in the long-term financial gain of a family with $26,000? Now, in 2020, a couple could borrow money for 2.36% interest. You can't buy now. It's going to cost you 6+%. Hey guys, do you realize that the housing market in Sarasota, Florida is on ice? Yep, I'm telling you, it's cooling down, and it's cooling down real fast. I want to try to explain why. It's very simple. Nothing complicated about it. There's just two things that are really having the biggest effect on the housing market. Number one, the interest rates are going up, which means the monthly expenses are also going up. And when the monthly expenses go up, you have less money at the end of the month. Here's the facts. Home mortgages could be secured in the year 2020 for about 2.5%. In mid to late 2021, interest rates had increased to about 4.5%. But today, July 2022, if you went down to the bank to try to get a home mortgage for 15 to 30 years, you realize you'd pay 6+% and hold on to your seat, because the government says that in the next 2 years, you can expect the interest rate to go up another 7 times. Yeah, interest rates are going up, which means the monthly expenses are also going up. So you're probably thinking to yourself, what in the world am I going to do? Can I give you some tips? If you're a buyer or a seller, I want to give you some tips, make some recommendations that will hopefully help you. Tip number one, get a good mortgage lender. Pick one that you like and trust. If you don't have one, call me, 908-240-8801. Reach me online. Reach out to me. I can help you. I can give you some suggestions. You pick one that works for you, one that you like, one that you trust. Get a mortgage pre-approval letter. Get a pre-qualification process application in now. Tip number two, whatever you do, do not get sucked into buying a home beyond your financial affordability. I know it's tough. You've put in multiple offers as a buyer, and you lost the bid, and you lost the bid, and you lost the bid. Don't get sucked in to increasing, thinking that if you get it, you'll be blessed by being a homeowner. It's true. Being a homeowner is a blessing, but only if you buy right. If you pay more than you can afford, the blessing of being a homeowner will quickly turn into the curse of being a homeowner, because you will be house rich and cash poor, and it's going to last 15 to 30 years. You do not want that. Tip number 3. As a buyer, work with a professional. Realtors have a state-issued license because they've gone to school, they've passed exams to prove that they know and understand something about contracts, something about real estate law. They have experience that you do not have. They know home inspectors. They can coach you in what to look for in the short and the long-term value of the home. They can help you determine what expenses are going to be there. They can warn you about insurance companies. Do you realize that in Florida, the biggest insurance fraud in the nation happens right here in this state? Be careful. Realtors are licensed. They can help you. Tip number 3, make sure you work with a realtor professional. Now, let's look at some tips for the seller. Hey, if you have been a seller in the Sarasota red hot market, you have been spoiled rotten. But I'm telling you, unfortunately, sellers, beware. The time of being spoiled is over and a new day is coming. There's a market adjustment. The market's not as red hot. It's still a seller's advantage, but it's not quite as good as it was. So let me give you some tips as a seller. First tip, adjust your selling price now on the front end. Be the low side in the comparative market analysis. Do not be the highest side. When you overprice your home, it causes the home to sit on the MLS longer. And there's a number called the DOM, days on market in the MLS. And when that number goes up to 30, 45, 50, 90, now you have alerted the buyer to something that's probably not true. I wonder what's wrong with that home that is not selling. You don't want that. First tip, you work with a professional that will give you a good comparative market analysis and make sure that your home is on the low side of good price. Because low-priced homes draws traffic, creates a feeding frenzy, creates a bidding war, and when you have the open house, you want traffic. You want people to say, wow, I want that home because look at how many other people want it too. Tip number 1, price your house correctly. Here's tip number 2 for the seller. Make sure that you understand that your first loss is usually your best loss. What do I mean by that? You only need one buyer. You don't need 2 or 3 buyers. You need one buyer. And if you can come close to getting what you want in a market that's cooling, you can be assured of this. Your second offer is probably going to be lower than your first offer was because there's been another week when the market's on ice. You don't want that. Price your home to sell. Get an offer that's close to your asking price. When you get one, don't be greedy. Take what you wanted to do what you said you wanted to do, and that was to move on to the next exciting step in your life. Tip number 2. And here's my last of 3 tips. Tip number 3 to the seller. Work with a professional. I know you don't want to pay a professional to do the work. You know that that's a big chunk of money. You think you can do it yourself, but do you know this? On the national average, homes that are sold by the owner sell for 8 to 10% less than homes that are listed by a professional sales agent and listed on the MLS, because that MLS can be seen by every state in the nation and also outside of the country. So, let me just remind you, if you pay a realtor, let's say 6% commission, but you sell your home for 8 to 10% higher than you could sell it on your own for sale by owner, wouldn't you be somewhere between 2 to 4% ahead? Of course you would. And when you're working with a professional, make sure you ask these questions. Hey, what could I do to make my home more attractive and more sellable on the market? And then listen carefully and determine that whatever that professional tells you to do, you're going to do it. Here's a fact. Don't miss it. Dirt and clutter do not sell well. When the realtor suggests that you clean out those closets, clean out the garage, get the pictures off the wall, take the animal heads that you mounted, and they're there because they're sentimental value to you, get them out of there, because I'm telling you, people don't want to see the picture of your kids and grandkids on the wall. They want to see bare walls so they could imagine what it would look like if they had their family pictures in its place. There you have it. Tips for the buyers, tips for the sellers in a cooling market in Sarasota, Florida that's on ice. Hey, my name is Brent Haggerty, and I am licensed by the state of Florida and brokered by eXp Realty. And I am the owner-operator of a business called Gulf Premier Sarasota Real Estate. Now, as the wheel spins on the axis, so I'm suggesting to you that the best of Florida living spins right here in Sarasota. I hope you found this to be helpful in some way. Would you do me a favor? On the count of three, when I say three, would you just slam down that subscribe button? It'll help me in my business. 1, 2, 3, boom, subscribe. Now, will you do me a second favor? On the count of three, will you hit that share button? All your friends will see on the shares, and that'll help my business too. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3, bang, share that button. My phone number is 908-240-8801. I hope you'll check out the Gulf Premier Sarasota, Florida Real Estate YouTube channel real soon, because we're going to come up with some other topics that will be of interest to you. Have a great day, my friend.